Good morning. This is Bryon Watkins again doing another show. It's Wednesday, July 19th, 2017. This is 19th, correct? Just want to double check. Yes, July 19th, 2017 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, I want to talk to you about a couple of things. One, I mentioned in the past regarding, unless I may have, if not, I'm about to mention it now, regarding police ticketing, police citations. But first and foremost, let me read some court cases. I'm going to get to that. Let me read some court cases, but I want to get to the crux of the show. And the crux of the show is regarding police ambushes. Now, let me read you some court cases first, because most of you do not know this. I found this out just by doing some research, just by accident. So I just love this stuff. I love reading court case decisions, their analogies, the references that they use to come up with their analogies, and so forth and so on. Ford, this is one court case. This is one in the field, I want to say. Ford versus the town of Grafton in Worcester County. Again, Ford versus the town of Grafton. The citation number 44 MASS, meaning Massachusetts, of course. It's an appellate court case, 715-1998. I'll go on to some more court cases. DeShaney versus Winnebago County. Citation number 489 US 189. And the issue in that court case, just like the other court cases I'm about to read, was whether or not police officers have the duty to protect us even from violent crimes. Now, first and foremost, let me say this. The answer is no, they don't. So you think about that for a minute. The question is, do police have the obligation to protect the people against violent acts from private people? Answer is no. Courts have said that on many occasions. Appellate courts have said that, as well as the United States Supreme Court have said that. Now, let's let that sink in for a little bit, especially to you women, because I'm about to read some court cases to women that it should really wake you up, and it's going to obliterate the myth regarding to protect and to serve, which was just a model that first came about, if you do your research, first came about by the LAPD in the 1950s. Okay. DeShaney versus Winnebago County, the citation number 489 US 189. In that case, the issue was, does the state, in failing to protect an individual against private violence, meaning from private people, private citizens, if you will, does that violate due process? The court said no. And the reason is, the state is not obligated to protect you from violent crimes. Only two times they are obligated to protect us from anything whatsoever as if they themselves created, or while you are in their custody, something happens to you. That's it. Most people don't know this. Most do not, because, see, we have grown up into a society full of myths. We have grown up into society with he said, she said, newspaper said, TV said, it said, that said, who said, but no one researches anything whatsoever to find out what was really said. You feel me? No one researches anything. Every time I've gotten to the habit, thank God, the last 5 years, when people say something, I say, okay, well, if he says she said, show me the citations that proves that. Can't produce not one citation. None. Now, and some of you may ask me, do I agree with this? Yes, I do. But hold on. So I know you're probably saying, well, why would you agree with that? I'll get that in a second. Do I agree that police do not have the right to protect us from violent crimes? Yes, I do. In fact, I'll go even deeper. The courts even said they don't have the constitutional right to protect us from violent crimes. And the reason is this. Here's the thing. People get misconstrued. The police are only sworn to support and defend the Constitution. Nowhere in there does it say they have a duty to protect people from violent crimes. Only to support and defend the United States Constitution. Federal courts, federal police, whatever, they're only obligated to support and defend the federal Constitution, the United States federal Constitution. That's it. It's as far as it goes. In this case, Now, to you women, you listen to this very carefully. The Shaney versus the Winnebago County case, that was regarding child services, protective services. Long story short, child or somebody was injured. They wanted to blame the services about it. It didn't work out that well. The court said no, they don't have the duty to protect. This is the court case that I really want women to pay attention to, and that this should really wake you up. I'm going to get to, now some of you are probably saying by now, what does this have to do with police ambushes? I'm going to get to that in a minute. Warren versus the District of Columbia, citation number 444 Alpha .2 D is Delta 1, 4 DC 1981. This court case was something else when I read it. I had to read it a couple of times. And they tried to sue the police under the public duty doctrine. Court still said no, they don't have the duty to protect. They don't have the constitutional duty to protect. In this court case, there was an incident. People were sleeping. They heard some banging, knocking, regardless of breaking in. Come to find out, 2 men broke into this apartment where 3 women were. They assaulted them. They raped them. It was sick. It happened for a while. They heard screams, loud screams. You all know anyone, the human mind can tell a scream in distress. So they heard the scream. They called the police a couple of times. It could have been prevented. When they got on the phone with the police the first time, the dispatcher said they wanted to dispatch somebody immediately. Well, that immediately, I don't know what the definition of immediately is, but it was far different than the actual definition of immediately. So, long story short, they were raped, they were brutalized, and they wanted to sue the police for not responding on time, for not allegedly doing their duties to protect and to serve. The court said, no. The police do not have the constitutional duty to protect the citizens from violent crimes. Police only have the constitutional duty to protect citizens if the police themselves create the violence, or while you are in the custody, something happens to you. That's it. So this myth and everything we've been lied to, how police are to protect and to serve, that's all a bunch of BS. And unfortunately, a lot of cops go into the academy with that, thinking that, but it's not true. Like I said, federal appellate courts have said that, and the United States Supreme Court have said that same thing. They don't have the constitutional duty to protect us even from violent crimes. They don't. They just don't. That's why I noticed out here in Las Vegas, they used to have on their cars to protect and to serve. And this is going on around the country. Now they have on their cars partners with the community. That should be your first clue right there. So, and there's another, read some more court cases regarding the same exact thing. Castle Rock versus Gonzalez, citation number 545 U.S. 748, 2005. This lady, now this is very important because this goes on a lot, domestic violence. This lady had through the courts, everything was in place to where the ex-husband could see the children at a certain time, and certain distance must be adhered to and so forth, 90 yards. This incident, he took the 3 daughters. The lady called the police to complain about it. The police did nothing about it because they said, well, sometimes he takes the daughters, so they didn't think nothing of it. But she complains to them about, the vulnerabilities that can come, how he was, and so forth and so on. Long story short, he drove himself to the police department, started shooting up the place. They killed him dead. They go to the car. They found, they found his daughters, all 3 of them dead. Now, they sued the police because, like all of us, we were under the impression that police have the duty to protect us from violent crimes or the potential threat of a violent crime. Court said the same thing. They don't. And when you really think about it, when police go into an academy, technically, there's nothing that says they are supposed to serve and protect us from violent crimes. Not in their some of their police training and procedures out that I've come across. And here's the flip side to that coin. If, in fact, anywhere in the training manuals or anywhere at all whatsoever it says that they are supposed to serve and protect, or that they do serve and protect, technically, that can be held against them in the court of law. The problem is, nobody attacks that. Nobody ever attacks that. Because police, just like when they signed the Constitution, just like the Constitution itself, if you read your history, the Constitution is a quid pro quo contract. It is a contract. It is a social contract. So, same thing with the police. If they say they're going to serve and protect, they just enter into a contract saying they're going to serve and protect. So, if you ever see a police card or a police department station that has that on the card, and you call them to serve and protect, and they don't, technically, if you sue them for lack of serving and protecting, you need to enter technically that in the court record, say, hey, on your card it says to serve and protect, but you're not doing it. And they're going to come, well, the Constitution doesn't say we have to serve and protect. Yeah, but your card says you are to serve and protect. Raise that argument. That's the point I'm getting at. But back to this court case, the Castle Rock versus Gonzalez court case. That's detrimental. I mean, he shot, they're young women, 9, 10, or 14, so very young. He killed them. They were in the trunk of the car. Now, could that have been prevented had the police reacted the first time? We don't know. I think it would, me personally, yeah. Most likely it could have. It could have been prevented. It really could have. So, and now let me get to the police ambushes. Because me reading these court cases, the crux of me reading these court cases is not only to educate you on the true and realities of police and their duties, but it's also to wake you up to the frustration, I'll say that again, the frustration people are feeling from this so-called best justice system in the world. And it's not. It's one of the worst justice systems in the world. It is. Police ambushes. Police ambushes. Let's go to Dennis Zine, former city council member for the LAPD. And I said this before. The LAPD, I forgot what year it was, 2008, 2009. Some of the LAPD police officers sued their department for being under stress, threat, and arrest to put it bluntly, phony traffic tickets. That right there proved that they were writing tickets for quotas. So when you ask the police if they write tickets for quotas, and they say no, they're lying. They're flat out lying to you because they do. All of them do. That's how they raise revenue. So the fact of the matter is, oh, by the way, the cops won the lawsuit, $6 million lawsuit, by the way, for suing other cops for putting them under stress, threat, and arrest to write phony law tickets. I just wanted to throw that out there so you all know. Again, that's more frustration the public is feeling because you write a phony ticket, technically, under the laws, that's called extortion. If you want to add a ringer to it, that's called extortion by cop. You know, the cop is supposed to be of high integrity, professionalism, you know, those words. Just wanted to let you know that. So I did some more research. Come to find out that other police departments do it. New Orleans PD, New Orleans PD, Miami PD, I've said this before, the NYPD, which also has been proven, Chicago PD, the Orange County PD, other parts of Texas around the country. Knowing how police will have the duty to protect, that's the frustration, that's the powder keg erupting. Knowing how it's been proven that not all police, but a lot of police departments write tickets to raise revenue, which is technically phony ticket writing, that's another powder keg waiting to erupt. Now, let's get to police stops, and I use a perfect example with the NYPD, with that stop and frisk. They stopped countless people, which proved through research to stop no crime, prevent no crimes whatsoever. Stop and frisk when you have no probable cause to begin with, that is an unlawful stop. And I would highly encourage people of New York that were stopped to get together and file a class action lawsuit, and you will win that lawsuit. You need to sue them for millions. Flood their courts with all kinds of paperwork that'll ooze out of their brains. Make them remember to not stop and frisk unless they're reasonable suspicion, then it can be elevated to probable cause. Again, that's part of that powder keg that's been going on with the police ambushes. Now, police ambushes, let's get to that. Well, I've been talking about that, but let's get to more of that with all these unlawful stops, all these unlawful shootings. And not to mention how police are protectively getting away with it. I read an article, I forgot to bring it in, but it was in the Las Vegas Review-Journal. And this is part of the conquer and divide. Apparently, due to statistics, a lot of police shootings is not just with blacks, it's more with whites. But at the same time, why do the newspaper channels only show white cop and black individual? That's more of that conquer and divide. It reminds me of the Nathaniel Bacon, the Bacon's Rebellion, how the powerful elite at the time was the white powerful elite, to be exact, in the 1600s. They saw how the poor blacks and poor whites can actually band together, or actually thinking of banding together, so they use the black and white divide. Point being is this, how the newspapers, news media always want to use how it's white police against blacks and so forth. Well, that's more the race divide. That's what that is. They never talk about white police when they shoot white people. They never talk about that. But the point being is, it's a powder keg how police pretty much are getting away with officer-involved shootings, that a lot of them, or not just shootings, but just murders period, which is not, a lot of them should never occur. Case in point, the one Garner in New York. Again, I've said this before. If you look at that videotape from the beginning to the end, from the beginning to the end, from the beginning to the end, at the very beginning, the cop that was behind Garner, you can look at his actions. You can look at the intent of his actions. He was going straight for his throat, which is against NYPD policy and has been prior to that incident, which means all cops on the NYPD knows that. If they don't know it, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Ignorance of your policies that you're supposed to abide by is no excuse also. You are supposed to know that through your education, training, and experience. If you don't, then you shouldn't have a gun or a badge. Not even a security gun or a badge. Not even a security badge. Nothing. Go do something else. Because it's cops like you that are spoiling for everybody else. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to police ambush. By the way, hold on a second. Speaking of police ambushes, how can I forget this? This is FBI statistics. 1997 nationwide. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Okay. 1991. 500 ambush police attacks. 2015. 240 by FBI statistics. 2011, jumping around, but you get the point. 72 officers were shot. 2015, regarding ambushes, 41. Bottom line is this. The news media wants to portray police ambushes as something that's on the rise or it's succeeded in the past. It's not. It's actually gone down. But there's more of that. The news media that conquer and divide, that divide and conquer, wants going at it yet again. But I just want to throw that out there. That's very, very important. So, the people that in the past that have done police ambushes, maybe there's something that triggered in their mind what it's saying in their communities that we don't live in, by the way, just so you know. We don't live in, say, for example, think of city, Olympia, Washington, whatever county that falls in. None of us, except the people in Olympia, Washington, we don't live there, so we don't know any of the kind of tyrannical acts that they do. We don't. Now, I can speak for Clark County, Nevada, because I live here, and I purposely examine police procedures out here on a constant basis. They do a lot of violations out here. They do. My point being is, and I know, and I don't condone police ambushes at all whatsoever. I've said that before, because that is like being a bully. I've been bullied a lot when I was a kid. If you got a problem with somebody, you face them face to face, eyeball to eyeball, and be that way. Don't just ambush somebody. So, I mean, that's BS. You don't ambush somebody. But the thing is, it's triggering that effect into other people. Because the police, the way they do their day-to-day, technically, the way they do their day-to-day business, because they are in the business for commerce. What I mean by that, perfect example is those phony ticket writings. You have any idea how many millions of dollars they generate? Which a lot of it doesn't go into the community, but I'll get to that later. See, a lot of people are getting frustrated. What I'm afraid of is an ambush not happen against a group, like a large group of police at once. That's what I'm afraid of. And then all hell may break loose. God knows what's going to happen. Because police overstep their bounds. A lot of times police become overzealous in their duties. They do. A lot of things that they do, the ticket writing, for example, they know not to do. A lot of incidents they come across where possible death can occur, they know darn well how to handle it better than they don't because they're overzealous or they get scared. They need to have better tests run on police recruits so they know who can really handle pressure, who's going to crack under pressure. You know, like, I'm not saying this literally, but you know the kind of tests the Navy SEALs go through? They need to go through some kind of test like that so they know who's mentally strong under any and all kinds of possible dangers or threat. They do. But they don't go through that kind of training. They don't. They just don't do it. So, my point, and in closing, as far as the police having duties to protect, which we all believe to believe, which is a flat out lie, to all these unlawful ticket writings, which we believe to believe that there was actually lawful, which they weren't, to now all these officer involved, people dying in their hands, either inside the jails or outside of the jails. It's a powder keg, is what I'm getting at. And people, some personalities, some people out there walking the street, God knows who, are getting frustrated, so they figure they can handle it by the barrel of a gun, which they can't. But the point being is, it's provoking all kinds of minds to do whatever. Police, you also need to start doing the right thing. You know about unlawful ticket writing, so quit doing it. You know, a lot of you know you don't have the duty to protect people, so quit telling people we're here to serve and protect. Quit lying about it. Quit doing it. And I know you can handle a lot of possible life-threatening situations differently, but you don't. So quit doing it. You all need to become better educated. You all need to have better policies and procedures set in. I don't want to see, well, we went through the training. I don't care about the training. I want to know the quality of your training. That's what I want to know. Just like some attorney. Well, I'm an attorney. Good. What's the quality of your training as an attorney? Well, I'm a stunt car driver. Good. What's the quality of your training as a stunt car driver? What's the quality? That's the bottom line. What is the quality? You can be trained in anything. Were you trained well in it? Did you have good quality training? That's what I want to know. So, with that said, we are in Las Vegas right now because of the monsoon season. We have a flood watch coming. So if you're here, be careful driving around. And don't try to drive through a big puddle. Don't. If you got one of those big trucks, it's not going to work. Not going to happen. The water's going to wash you away and make it stuck. So, with that said, I'm going to go. You all have a safe day. And just be safe, be good, and do the right thing. All right, I'm out. I thought you said.
She has it all hooked up over there and here.
Oh, okay.
So when she's over there, she's sitting there watching her show,
Okay.
and then she can remotely stop you from over there.
Okay.
So all of our people know when you point at the camera, that's when it's time for her to stop it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know police will have the duty to protect you.
Wow.
Yeah, see? I just feel, again, my,
I always grew up on serve and protect.
Bingo. Bingo. Exactly. See, I ran across that by accident in my court case. I forgot where I was Googling something. Yeah, so I was Googling something that just happened to read it. And I said, they don't have the duty to protect us. What? Are these copies for everybody?
Huh?
Are these copies for everybody?
I don't know if you can. No.
I'll leave it here. I don't want to take it. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm like, so, and then my friend David Johnson said the reason is because police officers are not really police officers, they're code enforcers. I said, what do you mean code enforcers? Now, then it just exploded from there.
Wow, that's great.
So, Uh,